My favorite thing about the movie, I actually took a note. Let's see in my notes real quick. I really appreciate it that they get right into it. Because the first 5 seconds they go and I'm singing in the rain, they do their gay shit, and it's great because I'm like, yes, that's what I was watching.
That's what I came here for.
So I was really appreciating it because I play this game in my head. It's like, oh, once they say the title of the film in the film, I'm done watching it, and that's where I turned it off. All right, guys, have a good day.
I felt they were edging the song. Like there was a point where they were in the house late at night and it was raining. I was like, oh, surely they will burst out into the Singing in the Rain song now.
No, but if you're in the house, are you really in the rain? It's the house is in the rain, and you're singing in the house.
There's a lot of meta jokes going on in this film, I think, but I think it's really interesting that they played the song like what? You played an intro when he's in the rain, when they're in the movie, and when they're in the theater. So 4 times they play the song. So
it is
I find
interesting.
I find it really funny.
In terms of the origin of the movie, which was in some ways MGM trying to do like a greatest hits write-off, right? Like,
this came out after that one movie we watched. Oh, by the way, one of the movies we watched, our first movie, The Singing Professor, was in this. The jazz singer. That's what I meant to say.
Our first movie, The Singing, is that related to the Nutty Professor?
Yeah, I get black people confused with jazz, and then I got.
Oh yeah. Well,
the professor.
You all know that the jazz singer made a very convincing black person. So
yeah, well, I was convinced. I was afraid. I put my wallet away.
They do a joke making fun of Al Jolson in this movie.
I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, at one point, Cosmo says like somebody references Al Jolson, and he makes a joke like something about talk to Mammy or whatever. Like,
oh, I thought they're just being racist. Okay.
No, I think he's making fun of Al Jolson for
being racist.
For being racist. It's actually reverse racism.
Yeah,
they're reclaiming blackface.
That's cool, I guess.
But no, this film was like a lot of the songs, not all the songs, but a lot of the songs were already existing.
I think it was all
from prior MGM musicals.
What a bunch of fucking hacks!
And I don't know, like our generation, clearly, if you know the song "Singing in the Rain," it's from this musical. It's what you'd associate with.
Yeah.
"Singing in the Rain" was originally from a 1929.
Yeah, that's what it says on Wikipedia.
Musical. Right, so how popular was that? I don't know, but like, was the average person fired up to hear like, oh my god, "Singing in the Rain" from 1929? That takes me back to my good old days.
Yeah,
man.
but when the Jizz Singer come out, 1927, so it would have been contemporary. This is why it's funny. It's a lot of meta jokes going on because they were trying to say this is the 20s, the late 20s, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of songs. Like not all of them, but a lot of songs are from things set from things released in the 20s, and the film itself is set in the 20s.
Yes, as you may or may not know. But they did have a song written in 1936, and 1939, and 1935, and 1935. And so this movie's a bunch of hacks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a book. I remember I got a book for a class in university to read like one chapter. It had something to do with the making of "Singing in the Rain." And, that book is still on my shelf at home in Guelph somewhere. And would it have been great if I read it before we did this? Absolutely. Maybe I'll read it 4 years from now and we'll revisit "Singing in the Rain."
Yeah, that's a good idea. We can watch the new one that's coming out in 2025.
They're making an all new "Singing in the Rain"?
They're always making a new "Singing in the Rain," dude.
Yeah, I wasn't going to fall for that one.
25.
I found Lena hilarious. She reminded me of who do you think Lena sounds like from "Singing in the Rain"? Is there any character in another show that comes to mind?
Oh, she sounds like a squanch bitch.
She sounds exactly like George's mother from Seinfeld, Estelle.
Oh. Yeah.
It's got that really high-pitched, whiny voice that just grates on you.
George!
Oh, I didn't think it was that bad, but, I'm not racist.
I think it's a pretty clever idea, and they also slow roll it because, like, Gene Kelly's character is, I was going to say Gene Hackman's character. Gene Kelly's character is...
Gene Hackman's dead, too, so I get you. That's how you get confused.
At the press events early on, and it's one, it makes me realize that wow, the artist. Remember the artist that won the Oscar like 12 years ago or whatever, and it was wow, a silent movie. I haven't seen it since the year it came out, but it made me realize how much where it is kind of
Is that
just
a
like
movie with Adrian Brody?
it's with John Depardieu or whatever.
Oh, that was Adrian Brody. Shit.
So basically, at the end of the artist, they imply that the reason he was uncomfortable transitioning from silent film to talkies was because he's French. And no, I mean they just say that at the end. It is kind of clever. Why wouldn't why you have to have some tension with transitioning to this new thing? You have to have some tension with why is Lena not the girl of his dreams or whatever? And it turns out she's really annoying and has a really grating voice, but she can still, in her current environment, be a big star in Hollywood.
Yeah, I think it reflected something that actually happened. Apparently, like this was something that happened to Greta Garbo. She just had an annoying voice. Couldn't.
I thought it was always because her name was Garbo, and when she came over from Sweden, people were like, "What is this? Who's this garbage woman?"
But yeah, I mean, Lena is kind of a shitty person beforehand. Like, it's not just her voice, right? Like, she dismisses. What's the dude's name?
Steve.
Gene Kelly's character.
Don.
Yeah, Don. When Don's a stuntman and he wants to talk to her, and he's like enthusiastic about working on film, she doesn't pay any attention to.
Yes. And that's a funny scene where it's within the same scene. She's completely uninterested, whatever. And then the second the director comes around and says, "Hey, I just talked to the producer. We think you're really going to go places, kid, blah, blah, blah." Then she stands up and she's very interested. And so just within that one scene, it tells you a lot about her character without her having any lines, right? That whole framing device is pretty effective, where they go into Dawn and Cosmo's past career as like vaudeville
players.
Vaudeville hacks.
Cosmo.
Ooh.
Like Cosmo Kramer,
Cosmo
though,
Kramer.
right? Yeah.
And then he's giving this speech about
Seinfeld.
how he's everything in his life, always with dignity. Yeah, it tells you a lot about the characters. They came from not a lot, and now they have to like live up to certain pretenses of being big, serious Hollywood actors. But it also lays the foundation for why they have the skill set to transition to musicals later in the film.
That's cool. Yeah. Sorry for the late start, guys. I finished the entirety of Dexter Original Sin.
I mean, we have to do an audit on your viewing behavior, anyways, because we have some timestamps from today, folks.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. Okay.
Oh, we're doing a timestamp thing, huh?
At what point? Because I swear this happened. I swear it was real, not just in my mind. He said at 10:03, watching the movie now. Then at 11:33, he said, "Movie all done." Now, this would be about 90 minutes. I think we can all agree 90 minutes is the approximate distance between these 2 points. And if I am to look up the film Singing in the Rain, you'll see it has a 103-minute runtime. Question is, where did the 13 minutes go?
It's funny because 13 minutes is the length of the Broadway scene.
It's funny because I always watch at 1.25 speed, and you know that.
That's awful. Why would you do that, especially when there's music?
Because it's okay. So I like Nightcore, so this really jammed.
You like Night Court?
Yeah, it's my favorite anime.
You got to get it to like 3 for Nightcore. You got to get their voices sounding like beavers.
Nah, it was okay.
Do you probably acknowledge that watching a musical at 1.25 times speed is extra detrimental compared to normally because the music will not sound as intended in this environment?
I think it sounded right.
I don't get it because the performers are already pretty quick.
Yeah, it was really awesome, honestly. I'm not going to lie. I was like, wow, this is really impressive.
No, I'm saying even without speeding it up, I think you can pay attention to this film even if you have ADHD.
I barely paid attention to it at all, so that's the thing. I just listened to it and played a game on my other monitor.
Okay, so I think for some people, and I'm probably included in this, like musicals are just a no-go.
I don't mind musicals, but this one, I feel like this one's made to annoy me. Like we talked about this last time or a time before, where I get confused because like, are they singing in the universe or like in their, you know what I'm saying? You know,
But this was the musical that did the least of that.
You know what I'm talking about, but they're doing
no. Yes, I know you mean, because the question, no, it's not the universe they're singing in, it's the rain.
That's funny. I got you. That's a good one. Yeah. Well, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you.
See, I had an okay time with this musical because I think all of the songs, well, maybe not the Broadway. Yeah, no, all of the songs were in universe.
That's not true, though.
Okay,
that is not true. There are some songs that are not in universe. They're like, for instance, he's talking about what the show is going to be or what the movie's going to be, and he's talking to the guy.
Yeah, that's the Broadway one. That's the one that's like talking about.
Yeah, you could argue that,
but that's not in universe. That's in imagination.
Okay, that's more along the lines of a typical musical song that's like a soliloquy where the character is doing their own thing.
No,
but
that's different.
Within the context of the film, he's describing something to a producer. And that was the weakest part of the film, where he was just off doing his own thing for 13 minutes.
It's very abstract, right?
Yeah.
And Gene Kelly has a history of doing these things. So one of the other films we watched earlier, in American in Paris, if you recall, in that one, probably I would agree. I think Broadway melody is interesting, but
American
not
in Paris. Isn't that like a porn for like
an American?
Paris is the name of the porn star.
Doesn't Paris Hilton have like a porn tape called American in Paris, something like that,
or One Night in Paris? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
In American in Paris, honestly, the fantasy sequence might be one of the best parts of the film. It's just done really interesting with the choreography, the colors, the cinematography, and the sets. It's really interesting. This film, it feels more separated, and part of the reason, and he also does these fantasy sequences, or at least some version of a fantasy sequence in the two other films directed with Stanley Donen that watched accompany this, which is It's Always Fair Weather and On the Town.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
The official release of the video opened with a dedication that states, "In memory of 9/11." We will never forget.
That's kind of awesome. That's so cool. Never forget. She's doing her part to make sure nobody ever forgets.
American in Paris, the fantasy scene.
The fantasy sequence in American Paris, or in Singing, or in It's Always Fair Weather, On the Town. Any of these other films are always starring the same characters, or one of the same characters, normally the love interest with Gene Kelly, right? So it might be telling a more divorced thing. It's a more abstract thing, but the emotions are still meant to represent the kind of like musical sequence of like, all right, well, like, you know, my emotions get really intense. I think I stole this from someone. I heard this once before. Somebody said this. Characters in musical go about their day like normal, and then like when their emotions get too high, they have to start singing about it, and then when their emotions singing about it get too high, they have to start dancing about it, basically. And so Gene Kelly's abstract sequences were much more emotional. They were an abstract way to be a little creative with the filmmaking and still express emotions of the character. This is super, super abstract, and it doesn't even star what's her name?
Debbie
the girl
Reynolds.
from doesn't even star Deborah Reynolds. It has Sid Charisse in it, who's actually the star of It's Always Fair Weather, which he made afterwards. But because of that, it feels really divorced from the rest of the material in a way that the other abstract sequences don't to the same extent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all the other ones you could see happening. Like people had a long day at work and blew off steam singing about it. There's the Donald, what's his name? Donald O'Carroll? Donald O something?
Cosmo?
The Irish guy. Cosmo. He's running around like showing his physicality. You can see these things happening. They don't divorce you from the moving forward the plot of the film.
I think it did, but that's just me.
I think that's my favorite sequence, the make him laugh sequence.
Yeah, that make him laugh one.
Yeah.
Where he just like does the flips off the wall.
Yeah. Some guy lays a door down and he starts flipping off of it. That's hard. I can't do that.
Okay, so you're completely you don't buy a bus. You're just like, okay, this is taking me out of the film.
Nah, I mean, it didn't take me out of the film. I just like, I didn't like it because I thought if they're gonna do that type of shit, they could have done more with it. They could have like had like Gene Kelly wake up and be like, man, wouldn't have been crazy if I didn't get kicked in the head by a horse.
at the end.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he's a stuntman, and that was all a dream sequence. It'd been great.
Oh, from the very beginning. Wow.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of nested like flashbacks and flash forwards.
Yeah, I love that shit.
No, but it's nice to have a happy ending. You know, people don't want to
Is
go
it
to
really
their MGM
happy?
musical and have a
I don't think it's
sad
happy.
ending. You don't
That's
think
not
it's
happy. Don marries a fucking dumbass bitch.
He loves Kathy. What are you talking about?
She's like, she didn't understand what was gonna happen. Yeah, go behind her, behind this fucking curtain. We're gonna have you lip sync. What a dumb bitch.
It did
I
seem
hate you.
odd.
Wah. And then it happens. I'm gonna run away now. It's like, no. What are you doing, dummy? You dumb bitch.
Actually, yeah, refresh my memory. Why did she like run away in tears?
Because she's a dumb bitch.
Because she had said like originally they were going to give her her own career. Like she was all in, like I'll help you guys fix the movie, and then they're going to give her her own career. And then what's her name started throwing a fit and was
Lena?
because they were going to credit her originally for providing the voice. All right.
Yeah.
So she was really upset because Lena threw her weight around and blackmailed the producer essentially into not crediting her, and to make sure that if she, under her contract she just has to keep dubbing and singing for Lena.
For Lena, yeah.
There's no, and she can't escape this. And then so she's super upset about it, and then Lena's at the theater and they want her to go on, during the encore after she awkwardly uses her real voice to sing, and Dawn tells her to do it. And so I think she feels betrayed. She feels betrayed by Dawn, who's
But she still does it, and then the curtain
she does,
gets
but
pulled
she's like,
up,
I'm
and
gonna
the
do it, but
crowd.
then I never want to talk to you again. Remember, she's crying.
Yeah, but I'm with Bosco here. The curtain gets pulled up. The crowd all starts laughing at Lena for using a dubbing singer or whatever, and she can't put two and two together, and like feels the crowd is laughing at her.
It also seems a little unnecessarily emotionally manipulative to not let her in on the plan before she does it. Like they probably could have told her, because it's very clear that Dawn and Cosmo know what they want to do.
Yeah, but that's because she's a dumb bitch, though. She's just a dumb bitch, dude. I mean, and it's not even Dawn and Cosmo. It's also the director or whatever. Everyone was in it but her.
If he was in on it or if he kind of realized what they were going to do.
I think she understood. They understood the game because they started singing in sync, which means they obviously planned this.
Oh yeah. I couldn't remember at what point his eyes kind of were like, oh yeah.
Oh yes, let's fuck the bitch.
No, I mean I think it is a happy ending.
No, we just find out she's a dumb bitch. Nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, but she's not trapped into a contract where she'll never have her own fame or talent on display.
She's too stupid to probably read the fine print. Probably like one.
She doesn't need to do much thinking. She just needs to do singing and dancing.
Yeah, that's some dumb bitch stuff. Yeah, thanks right there. That's cool. I guess fine. I appreciate it. She's dumb. She was picking a fight with Don Lemon at the beginning of the film, and then has to jump out of a cake because she thought she was too good for him, and then she jumps out of a cake. Yeah, it's a good scene though.
Don Lemon is Gene Kelly in this scenario. Just to be clear,
yeah. Don Lemon, Donald Draper, Don Lemon, and they're like, I know you live now. I could walk you home, or some shit like that. That was a good line. I like that. That was good shit. Yeah, it was good stuff. But I hated the film because people told me to watch it. I don't like doing what people want me to do.
Okay, well, good. You've agreed to this project where we'll watch over 100 films, none of which were individually selected by us.
Did you get the impression then? Like, I don't think I was paying enough attention, but she was playing it cool when she met Don initially, like, and that she turned out to be a fan, or she looked into him after meeting him. Do you guys remember how that went out?
She's dismissive of movie actors at the beginning.
And that's why he takes this attitude that, oh, you're the mighty theater actor and you're going to do Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, and then she's a cake girl the whole time.
Yeah, but it gets him thinking, like, okay, what am I doing here? Am I still doing vaudeville, basically? Am I like a fool?
Yeah. Am I just doing a different type of clowning with the wig and the sword?
Well, yeah, I guess she was just faking it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's if it's in between or what it's meant to be. Maybe she's jealous at the beginning. I'm not sure how we're meant to read that.
And then the idea that he pitches to the studio executives is kind of the same as her dream of like somebody who goes to the big city and makes it in Broadway. You think he was like the character of Dawn was trying to write something based on her.
Yeah, that I don't. It's the hard part with that is it's kind of I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. Where
It was
if they
the
picked the
egg.
songs they wanted to use first, then they're coming up with this framing device to do the Broadway melody and have it be part of the movie. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
because they say we'll do a framing device where a sandbag falls on his head and all this stuff, and then he's back in France or wherever the fuck it's set, but they don't actually show any of that framing device.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, I liked the film, the parts of the film that dealt with that behind the scenes Hollywood. As I've mentioned several times, the transition between silent and talkies. But when it got to the Broadway bit, it just felt a bit too self-indulgent. Like Hollywood loves films that are about Hollywood.
Yeah, especially the joke at the end when the producer's like, I just can't picture it. They're like, oh, okay.
Like I really like that scene where they're walking through the studios and they've got all of these films that are being shot in studios. So like there's a gunfight happening on top of a train as they're walking past different scenes.
Yeah. I did like that stuff a lot as well. And part of what's interesting is you have to assume it's been about 25 years since between the movies like creation and when it's set. There were probably people around who are actively involved in the film industry working at some point in the film, so they would have known what it's actually like. What was the silent air like in a way that maybe not necessarily the stars would of the film, but people working behind the scenes.
Yeah, like the one of the funniest parts is where they're getting, for me at least, is where they're getting used to the microphone and talking into the microphone, and they have to hide the microphone in a plant, and then Lena is talking away from the microphone, so she gets like louder and quieter and louder. Okay, what's great? What's great about Singing in the Rain? I like the feel-good nature of it. I think all the characters are sympathetic, even Lena.
Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah. She does the only truly awful thing she does is blackmail the guy at the end to shaft Kathy. Otherwise, it's like a very understandable. She has an ego from being a big star, and she doesn't want to jeopardize being a big star.
Yeah, and she deludedly thinks that she's in love with Don, and a lot of her motivation stem from that.
Which is funny as well, because she essentially believes the press reports about them. They're co-stars, and she just reads them as like Dawn.
See, it's like in universe. Like I'm telling you, man.
You were saying the opposite.
It's like, but it's not at the same time. What?
My favorite part about in universe is that in the Gene Kelly cinematic universe, everyone just has their tap dancing shoes on as they're going. Just in case you need them,
especially when you're walking home in the rain.
Yeah.
I have a good question about this. So, it was the code error wasn't in play yet, but it was filmed in the 50s, but it was taking place in the 30s. Could they have shown sex?
Okay, well, what's the question? When did the Hays Code end?
If you set it in a time period outside the Hays Code, can you ignore the Hays Code? Is that the question?
Yeah, that was my question, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can. Okay, that's all I want to know.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. If you just say, actually, this one happened in
so 12 Years a Slave, that actually was a slave movie. That's good to know.
They had slave. They didn't pay any of those actors. No.
Yeah. More like 12 Years a Bore, am I right, guys?
The rules are determined based on when it's set, always.
Okay, Bosco, I hesitate to go to you for your opinion, but what are our feelings about best songs
out of this movie? I mean, what's the song where he's like, I gotta dance? Where he's talking to the slap. He's getting he's trying to flirt with a flapper chick, and then she turns him down, and he's like, and then he's walking all sad, and then the guy's like, dude, let's fucking dance, bro. He's like, yeah, let's dance. What song is that?
Is that one of the songs?
I swear that's a song. Is that not a song?
I mean, I like the tongue twister the most, actually. I like the bros goofing off.
Oh man! I wanted to play a Joe Rogan clip where it's like, look guys, look at these black men, they're rapping, but it's like the 20s. I was thinking the same thing, man. This is like the 20s and they're rapping. It's crazy.
Oh, you thought the Moses opposes roses?
That's a kind of rap, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
The Moses opposes roses sequence reminds me a lot of another My Fair Lady.
Yeah, it's called Gotta Dance. That's the name of the song. What the fuck? No one watched that? I watched it. 1.25
I don't know the names of the songs. You got to you have to sample it. You have to sing it with your heart.
Oh, the Broadway thing that eventually becomes.
That one was pretty good.
Okay.
But I thought you said you hated this.
I did. I hated the. I see. You don't understand. I like certain things, but I hate the premise of what's going on. I don't like how it's organized.
Because I was also confused because Gene Kelly is playing a dude, playing another dude disguised as another dude in the sequence.
And he's like, I'm a dude playing a dude as another dude.
It's hard to when you're like his friend or who even are any of these people. Yeah, it's hard for me to rate the Broadway Melody because it honestly it's like an intermission. It's a really well done intermission, but it's so emotionally divorced from the rest of the film. It's like I don't think it's bad, but it's hard to be like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, man.
this is
I
great.
do really enjoy this scene where she's dancing with the huge gown in the wind. It's very beautiful.
So like the Dueling Cavalier, right? One of the ideas was they're going to reuse the costumes for that film. When did they reuse the costumes for that film?
No, they wanted to use
They
all the footage they already shot.
You remember the solution to saving the film was they just say that he got hit in the head with a sandbag, and then they can just switch to all these musical numbers and then cut back into when he wakes up.
No, it's the sandbag is the musical numbers.
So wait, they hired M. Night Shyamalan for this
drama in France, and they said they filmed a couple extra scenes, like the "Would You" scene, right? So they show Debbie Reynolds dubbing "Would You," and then they film that. They go back and do some pickup shots to add some music to the.
So wait, you're telling me there's a film inside a film inside a film going on?
Yes, I don't know if it's that hilarious.
No, there is.
Inside of film, yes.
Yeah.
But they're saying in the Dueling Cavalier, where they're in Renaissance era, maybe earlier than that. No, they're but they can see the 20s.
No, it's the other way around. The framing device is the other way around. The Broadway Melody is happening in the present day.
Why do we watch the making of the Dueling Cavalier? Why don't we watch the Dueling Cavalier instead?
The Dueling Cavalier.
We should have watched that movie instead.
By Gene Kelly's character. So Gene Kelly's character gets hit in the head because Gene Kelly's character is Donald Kelly.
But which one's the real movie though?
So Gene Kelly's character is Don Lockwood, and Don Lockwood is playing a guy who's in 1920s vaudeville, and Don Lockwood's guy gets hit on the head by a sandbag. And then in his dream sequence, Don Lockwood's guy is another French guy.
When does he get hit in the head with a sandbag, though?
They don't show it. They just talk about it. That's what I mean. They never show the framing device.
Why did we watch the making of? Why didn't we watch the actual movie? I don't get it.
Because it was too bad.
Yeah. They do show it like the sounds desync. There's all these gags. People in the theater are laughing at it. And the reason they show Broadway Melodies like him explaining the idea versus as it is in the movie is because it's so the color and everything is so key to it, right? That you wouldn't want to produce it and show it like it was on 1920s film. So it's his imagination explaining what the Broadway Melody sequence will be like, and that's why it's shot and looks like it
all
is.
they had to do was change the time period, and then they wouldn't have to worry about the color issue.
Right, but then they wouldn't have transitioned to talking silent. Or from
they wouldn't need that plot point. They just made they made the actual movie instead of the making of the movie.
But that's the problem that they have to solve.
But they could have had another problem when they had
the musicals in the first place.
Like, you feel like you got gypped because you didn't get to watch The Dancing Cavalier, and instead you had to watch this movie called Singin' in the Rain.
Which is the making of The Dancing Cavalier. I don't get it.
It's like I bought the DVD, but it only came with the bonus feature disc with the making of documentary.
Yeah. What a rip.
I like this take of yours. I did feel that I would have liked to see a little bit more of the Dancing Cavalier, the final product.
I would have actually, on a serious note, I would think it would have been more interesting to see the final product versus what we've seen. I mean, I don't know. Because it doesn't seem like the Dancing Cavalier, because logically though, the Dancing Cavalier is now a small segment. They have an hour-long film, for instance, a feature-length film. They're like, we got to save the footage, so we're going to only keep 5 minutes of it. What? How does that make?
It didn't really save much on production costs.
Save anything. That's why I assumed that how Marty's explaining it didn't make any sense. I'm like, they obviously must have used the Cavalier as the base, and then I would think he got hit in the head, and then that's when they get through the 20 shit. But
Yeah,
apparently
yeah,
I'm
yeah, I
wrong.
got it the wrong way around too.
I just assume that's the way I would do it because that would save costs.
Yeah, then you could frame most of it in the stuff you already shot. But it does give us another meta moment, right? Like where Lena has a line that she has to say to Don in the dancing cavalier bit, and Debbie supposedly dubs over her voice because she has a nicer voice. But in that's a different actress doing that dub because Debbie Reynolds' voice was considered too uncouth. She just sounded like a Midwestern girl, not refined
That's
enough.
funny.
She should have gone to those classes that Lena takes.
Exactly.
That's funny.
I don't know. It's funny, but it is massive.
Yeah, well, I just like to think we saw a lot of what's that guy's name that liked to rape women by using his power to get coerced sex out of them. A lot of Weinstein-esque
talking about from
escapades are
Casablanca?
going on. No, a lot of Anthony Weinstein, I think his name is, or
Harvey Weinstein?
a lot of Harvey Weinstein actions going on in that film. I don't know if you guys noticed it. One guy was like, "I can make you a star, kid. Now sleep with me."
But that was
funny.
Cosmo, no?
It was that. I don't know their names. I just
It was
Look,
Cosmo, yeah.
yeah.
But she was like, "Are you sure you can make me a star?"
What a piece of shit, huh?
If
Well, I got
if
a fart.
Cosmo does it, I'm actually pro sexual assault now. As I've changed my mind because
That's
Cosmo
Donald
is funny,
O'Connor.
and
He's dead, by the way. He died.
yes, as
Dude,
of
my
February
oh.
2025, Rita Moreno is the last surviving credited star. From
Yes,
the film.
that is, and she was a Zip girl.
I did not even realize it was Rita Moreno in that role.
Yep, and this is on, as you might know, she's a Puerto Rican dancer, and this is on Wikipedia.
She's in West Side Story, and they put makeup on her to make her look more Puerto Rican, and it's kind of like the same thing that Al Jolson does.
That's a full circle.
Yep. No, one thing I was thinking, because earlier you said that you there's some people that musicals aren't really for, and you're probably one of them. And I think I used to think I was the same way, and I still wouldn't be like musicals are in my top 3 favorite genres of film or anything. But one of the things that made me realize is that there is a difference between people making musicals with potentially non-musical actors, or the musical elements and the plot elements feel very disparate.
Mhm.
And what I've realized over time is the ones I like more, even when the plot elements are not very exciting or particularly well done, I can still appreciate the musical sequences if there's someone like Gene Kelly at the helm, right? Rather as a star or the director or whatever, choreographer, making a big effort to make the musical sequences good and unique. The combination of filmmaking, like what you can do with cinematography and dancing and the sets and all these things where it's not supposed to be realistic, I'm completely fine with that surreal feeling. It's impressive in a way. I would very rarely listen to like show tunes by choice. It's like if I'm just like listening to just audio, most of the music in these films is not stuff I particularly like. I know there's like Broadway people that do. The combination within the film is really good for me.
But like, why is musics and musicals why are they always the worst music ever? I don't get it. They never have good music in musicals. It's the weirdest thing ever.
But that's why I was fine with this. Like, I agree with you to some extent, Prince. Like, you're kept in the film. I think part of that is the actors were such decent dancers and singers that could use these more continuous takes, so it doesn't feel too disjointed. And then why is the music so bad? Because probably because in some way it has to relate to, well, it has to fit certain rhythms, and then it has to relate to like what the characters are doing.
A lot of the songs weren't even written for this musical, like we discussed earlier.
Oh my! So they could have. So they had more choices, but they decided to not use another choice.
Well, they had choices, but also they couldn't
What are you saying?
do something from scratch, right? Like you can.
Were they trying to save production costs or something? Like by
Yeah, like
reusing
this is
the fucking dumb. Wouldn't it have been easier just to have Gene Kelly write a song on a harmonica? Done.
Okay, you want to wrap with films that you watched?
Yeah,
on the town? Something else?
you guys watch On the Town or It's Always Fair Weather?
Couldn't do it. Couldn't bring myself to do it.
Couldn't do it.
Okay, what about these films though?
Okay, they're actually interesting because they're interconnected. So the On the Town is like a nice enough musical. I enjoyed it. I'd say it's not as good as Singing in the Rain, but better than It's Always Fair Weather. And essentially, it's a story. It's 1949, so It's probably more deeply relatable. It's a bunch of guys who just got home, or they're on shore leave in the army, and essentially they have one day in New York, and they all got to find girls and fall in love, do this and that. There's lots of nice musical sequences. It looks really good. Like the color's really good. Like all these other musicals. There's some Bernstein stuff that's in there, and they also cut a bunch of the Bernstein stuff for more direct, normal musical music. But I like Frank Sinatra's in this. He sings really well. Him and Betty Garrett have a number together. It's good. I liked it. It's good. One of the interesting things is what happens is that Frank Sinatra kind of goes down in his career and then comes back up and becomes a serious career in the interim. And the third star of the film is a guy called Jules Munchin, who by later in the 50s didn't really have a big career in film anymore. He was always the third most famous guy by far. 1955, they come back. They want to do essentially a sequel to that film. But Gene Kelly's co-star is like, Sinatra either doesn't want to do it or doesn't get offered it for whatever reason, and Jules Munchin's not a star that they can sell him on anymore. The plot of It's Always Fair Weather is, instead of Navy guys, after the other two guys couldn't make it, now it's Army guys. And they get home, they finish the war in New York City. They agree, they're at a bar, and they agree that they're going to meet back at the same bar 10 years later. And see where they're at in their lives. And obviously, it's one of those things where nothing happens what they expected. The guy who wanted to be a fancy chef runs a diner. The guy who wanted to be an artist becomes a big ad executive. Gene Kelly's character, who is going to be like the senator or whatever, he's the future politician, later becomes like a whatever, kind of like punk boxing manager, doing all these little kind of semi-shady jobs. And then they meet back up, and they can't be friends because they realize they hate themselves, and they can't love their friends when they hate themselves. And they come around in the end. There's a little romance between Gene Kelly and Sid Charisse' character. Sid Charisse? Is it Charisse?
Charisse. Charisse.
So it's interesting. It actually has the most interesting fleshed out concept. There's some good, cynical stuff now because we've entered the television era by 1955. And so there's a lot of cynicism about how TV shows are just a package to sell ads. Some good satire with that. It's actually the worst of the three movies in terms of how much you enjoy. The musical sequences are still the best part. There's some innovativeness, and It's Always Fair Weather when they shoot things in three parts, essentially. They have extra wide films spliced together, whatever it is. And it's pretty creative and clever, but the overall quality of just all the scenes where people aren't singing is a lot sleepier, and that drags it down. And I do find that kind of interesting because it has the best concept. It has the most clear concept, probably, of any of these three films. And yet it's the least interesting to watch, which tells me more about my own taste, at least, where it's the musical sequences do carry the film. Singin' in the Rain has the best musical sequences, by and large, and therefore it's the best film.
Worth seeing the other two? I can sort of get away with watching Singin' in the Rain and having a good time, but if I don't like musicals generally, should I watch the other two?
I think if you don't like musicals generally, probably not. At least I would recommend other musicals before it. On the Town, I think is good enough. I definitely wouldn't watch It's Always Fair Weather without having seen On the Town, because it's almost meant to be like I said, it was almost an intended sequel originally, so it still carries some of that DNA. And if you haven't seen On the Town, it's just not going to hit the same. But I do feel like it's an interesting American cultural thing where you go from in 1949 making a movie for guys that a huge percentage of younger American men at this point are veterans. So they're going to relate to it. So oh yeah, remember when we got leave and all the adventures we got into? And then in 1955, these guys have all been settled down with families or whatever they did since they came back from the war after 10 years. And it's, I think, probably be deeply relatable to them. Wow, I wonder what my old war buddies are up to. I wonder what the other pathways in life I could have gone down when, what did I dream of doing when I first came back home?
Okay. How many musicals are left on the list? Because I think we have yet to see Wizard of Oz. Well, I hope the rest of the musicals are also high energy and less abstract. Like this one, 2 out of 3 of us liked it. That's not bad.
Well, it's Singin' in the Rain masterpiece. Thank you everyone so much for enjoying the masterpiece of Singin' in the Rain. And I just like to say that this wig weighs a ton. Would dope wear a thing like this? Everybody here store them later. Well, then everybody was a dope. Goodbye.
Go away.